Hello, everybody, and welcome back to From BA to Broadway for another episode of In the Spotlight. You know who it is. It's me. It's Brennan. Just your general programming reminders. Every Monday we are here with the main pod. Every Wednesday we're bringing you In the Spotlight. And today we are talking about the prom. But of course, I'm not here alone. Danny, what's going on?
Hello, everybody. Not much. What's going on with you?
Not too much. What was your favorite prom that you've ever went to? How many proms did you go to? Did y'all do, was it senior only in your school?
My high school was senior only. I went when I was a sophomore because one of my friends was a senior and she took me.
Great.
I went my senior year. And then I went to the community theater prom.
What is that? What is that?
It was the theater that I did community theater at.
No.
Held a theater kids prom. And
why? Why?
Because why not?
Fair.
You know, we had a blast. You know what? We were friends. We were doing theater together. We had a freaking blast.
Did you have to pay to go to it?
I don't remember, but probably.
Yeah, that's
probably.
That's why they did the prom.
And I remember a friend of the pod, Brandon Walters, we ran around and got everyone to vote for us for prom king and queen. And we didn't win, but we think we did win, and they just didn't announce it because they knew that we were memeing it.
That's fucked. That's homophobia.
But yeah, so technically 3.
So was that your favorite one?
I don't know. I had a very good prom. My senior prom was very fun.
Great.
I took a lovely friend of mine, and we had a blast, and yeah.
Amazing.
I don't have any negative prom experiences. What about you?
My favorite, I went to, how many proms did I go to? I went to 4 proms.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because ours was a junior senior prom because our high school was so small.
Okay.
And then I went when I was a sophomore because a junior asked me. And then I also went when I was a freshman in college because one of my best friends was a senior. And she asked me to go with her. So
And was everyone like, oh my God, he's back?
Not really.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Not really. Some of the teachers were like, oh, hi. And I was like, hey.
Oh, you're coming back.
I have a beard now. You may not have recognized me. But yeah, my favorite was definitely my senior prom. Mm-hmm. I was a class officer, so I planned it. But I
helped plan the prom too, actually.
I planned a lot of it. I grabbed us the venue. I did all of that jazz. So it was a hit. It was really great.
Wow, you really? I didn't remember that I helped plan the prom because I was in student government.
Another thing is like we're getting close to our 10-year reunion, and I think the class officers are supposed to plan it. And
I was VP senior year.
I haven't heard a peep from anyone, and also I don't want to plan.
There are some grumblings on Facebook from classmates, and I think our president senior year sent out like a Google Doc of when works for you, where would you like it to be? So I guess we're just waiting to see if that happens.
Gotcha.
I would go though. I would go. I'm going to go.
I would go, but I don't want to have to be involved in planning this.
I have to go with my friend. I would never go alone.
Of course.
I have my high school girlies that I still keep in touch with, and we all have to go together or not at all. But I'll go.
I don't really keep in touch with too many of my friends that I graduated with. My closest friends from high school are either a year older than me or a year younger than me. But I mean, it would be nice to see everyone for sure. Anywho,
we are talking about the prom. Big surprise.
Prom.
I'm so excited. I love this show.
Yeah.
I love the show.
Yeah, you do.
We love sapphic representation on this podcast.
We love what representation?
Sapphic.
Sapphic. What does that mean?
Women loving women.
Ribbon loving women.
Women loving women.
Women loving women.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've never heard the term like sapphic?
Maybe I have, but I probably still didn't know what it meant. Who's to say? Anywho, sapphic women. Sapphic representation. What was it?
We love like sapphic representation on this podcast.
Yes, we do. Folks, that's your vocabulary lesson for the day.
Like Fun Home, the prom.
We
didn't talk about it. Limpika was our latest sapphic representation, but yeah. We should double check that's not a slur before we do this. But my friend says it very freely, my lesbian friend.
Okay.
So I think it's fine to say.
That doesn't mean we get the permission to say it.
We should cut this word. No, it's not a slur. People say it all the time.
Are you sure?
cut this part where we're questioning whether it's a slur. We'll check if it's a slur. And if it is, we'll cut
No,
that
I think
part
it's
too.
funnier if we leave this in.
No, people are going to think we're dumb.
I mean, clearly we are. Anywho.
But if it is a slur, we cut out the whole section.
I'll just bleep it. I'll
We'll just believe it.
bleep every time
We'll be like, use your imagination on what we're saying.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Anywho.
I'm going to ask right now. I'm going to text the group chat. Quick cue. Is sapphic a slur or cool to say? Okay. I'll tell everyone when they respond. So the prom. We have music by Matthew Sklar, lyrics by Chad McGuilan, and book by Bob Martin, who you might recognize as the star and writer of The Dressy Chaperone. And Chad McGuilan also worked on the book. I am going to give a rundown of the show, and then we'll talk about the productions.
Do it.
Just for those of us who don't know it. So the musical opens with a Broadway opening night where we follow Broadway stars Dee Dee Allen and Barry Glickman, who are bashed by the New York Times, who call them self-absorbed narcissists. So in order to improve their image, they decide to take up a cause to show the world that they are good people. They team up with two other washed-up actor friends of theirs, Trent Oliver and Angie Dickinson, and they decide their cause, which they found on Twitter, is going to be this girl named Emma. Emma is a teenager in Indiana where her school's prom has been canceled because she wanted to bring her girlfriend as her date. We then zoom in on Emma, and we see how she is bullied and tortured at school. She lives with her grandmother because her parents kicked her out, all because she's gay. And her secret girlfriend is the popular girl in school, Alyssa Green, whose mom is the head of the PTA and who is spearheading the campaign against Emma being able to bring her secret girlfriend to the prom. When our Broadway actors arrive in Indiana, they kind of cause a ton of chaos, and they form this unlikely friendship with Emma, and they give her confidence, and they help her in her fight for an all-inclusive prom. The first act ends with Emma arriving to the prom with, Barry Glickman on her arm and finding out that the PTA had secretly arranged a separate prom for everybody else in the school, and Emma arrived at her own prom where she was alone in the gym. And Alyssa was not aware of the trick, so she ends up at the normal person prom, and...
The normal person prom? Really, Danny?
It's a quote from the show. It is in the book. She goes, "Have fun at the normal person prom," all right?
Mm.
And so it's a heartbreaking end to Act 1, where Alyssa is afraid to come out to her mom, and Emma is alone at her own prom.
I'm going to bleep when you say normal, too.
Fine, censorship. In Act 2, Emma breaks up with Alyssa and is crushed. Angie works on Emma, working on gaining her confidence, and Trent works on talking to the rest of the kids in the school who were homophobic, and he kind of uses Christian rhetoric against them to show them how hypocritical they are in their homophobia. Eventually, Emma decides to make a YouTube video about her journey to self-acceptance, and it goes viral, which enables the team to organize an all-inclusive prom for the LGBTQ youths across the state. Alyssa comes out to everyone and admits her love for Emma. Her mom is shown as kind of being on the road to acceptance. Barry is named the prom queen, and everyone dances it out. And that is kind of Prom in a ribbon.
There you go.
And I didn't know this, actually, but this musical is based on true events.
No.
So the show
That's so sad.
It's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually heartbreaking. In 2010... high school senior Constance Miller in Fulton, Mississippi, was banned from attending her school prom when she wanted to bring her girlfriend, and she said that she wanted to wear a tux. And after a lot of back and forth, the school board allowed her to attend the prom, but only 7 other students attended that prom with her, and the school board organized a secret prom for all of the other students at a country club, and Constance was not invited to that prom. And it went super viral. Constance was on, they fought it, and the school, I think the school had to pay her out a suit, and she was on Ellen, and, it was a huge story at the time. I had never heard of it. It was in 2010. And that is what this musical is based off of.
That's crazy.
So it's based off a current event, but this musical is a wholly original musical, which
Yeah.
is really refreshing for, I think, this point of Broadway where
For
we
sure.
are, where everything is usually adaptations, a lot of movie adaptations.
Yeah.
So this was, in my opinion, a really refreshing musical that season, where
Yeah.
it was wholly original, not really based on any off
was
of any
wicked
IP.
popular.
It wasn't a jukebox, all the original score. So that was really exciting. And the musical played an out-of-town run at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta in 2016 before transferring to Broadway and opening at the Longacre Theater in November of 2018, directed by Casey Nicholaw. The cast, this was a crazy, crazy cast. The cast included Caitlin Kinnunen starring as Emma, Beth Level as Dee Dee Allen, Brooks Ashmanskas as Barry Glickman, Isabel McCullough as Alyssa, Chris Sieber as Trent, and Angie Schworer as Angie. Brooks, Caitlin, and Beth all received Tony noms for their performance. I think Brooks Ashmanskas was robbed. He should have won the Tony that year for Best Leading Actor. And me and my friend have coined... this is what I think of this cast. Me and my friend have this term that we call blue-collar Broadway. And it's like, you know, we all have those actors that we all know. Like Sutton Foster, Audra McDonald, they are just the Broadway stars who have like the name above the title.
Of course.
And have just worked on Broadway for the past 20 years of their lives. And then there's that, I don't want to say lower because that sounds negative, but I don't mean it as a negative way. But like the non-named Broadway actors who have been working on Broadway for the past 30 years who just aren't famous.
Yeah.
And we call them the blue-collar Broadway actors.
Oh, my God.
And that's what this cast was full of. Like, you know, like Chris Sieber isn't a household name, but he's in every show under the sun. Beth Level, she's famous. Like, she's Broadway famous, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Brooks Ashmanskas, like, I wouldn't call him famous, like Broadway famous, but he has been a New York theater working actor for his entire career. He has more Broadway shows under his belt than, you know, many people. And I love seeing those people work. That is,
of course.
When you see a cast with those people, it's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky enough to see it on Broadway, and it was just phenomenal. I know they worked on this musical for a really long time. I think this musical was in development for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know about Caitlin, but I know the adults, like Beth, Chris, Brooks, and Angie were attached to the project the entire time. Like, these parts were written for them.
Great.
To showcase exactly what they do, to showcase their voices. It just... You know, you're seeing these actors play parts that fit them like a glove. There is a wonderful, wonderful bootleg on YouTube that we watched last night.
Yep.
I think it's their last performance because the audience is a little nuts.
Either that or people really loved the show.
It's like they're standing ovations, screaming, rousing applause. But it's a solid bootleg, which we love. Pro bootleg. And let's see. What else we got? This show was really historic also because the cast performed the song Time to Dance at the 2018 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and they made history with the first LGBTQ kiss in the parade's broadcast history.
Yeah, I remember that.
Caitlin and Izzy kissed at the end of the song, and it was incredible and historic.
Of course.
Beautiful song. Beautiful moment. And I think a lot of people were mad about it, and Broadway said, we don't care.
Exactly.
Broadway's full of gays.
They said, this is our parade. I don't know if you noticed, but every 5 minutes, we are doing something.
You think all these dancing elves are not gay?
Snoopy, step aside. This is for the gays. No, Snoopy's probably gay.
Got it. I got an answer on Sapphic.
Okay. What's the answer?
Okay. Apparently people don't always love it.
Oh, okay.
It's not technically a slur anymore.
It's not technically a slur anymore.
My friend says I would relate it almost to queer at this point.
Oh, okay, great.
Where I think it's been reclaimed.
Great.
So I think we're in the clear.
There you go, folks. We weren't trying to be problematic, I promise.
Nope. Problematic.
Oh my God.
Did you see the prom?
No, I've only seen the bootleg. I saw a regional production of it, and I saw it at the White Plains Performing Arts Center.
Oh my God, how was it? Was it good? I've never been to that theater.
It's a really nice venue. I believe it used to be a movie theater,
Oh, interesting.
And the seats, because of it, are incredible. They're just like big old cushy
They're, like,
movie
actually
theater
comfortable seats.
Yeah, so much leg room.
Unlike like every other theater in the world.
100%. It's a very great space to see a show in, for sure. And it's very big.
Yeah. That's how I felt. This is another tangent. When I saw Cabaret, because they renovated the entire theater, and there's like no other Broadway theater that is renovated. And I was like, oh my God, a Broadway theater can be comfortable.
They
if
better
they
keep
renovate
it like that.
The bathroom is huge. There's so many stalls and urinals. Like, oh man, every theater's got... And it's tough. I know that these theaters are historic buildings, so it's really tough to renovate them.
For sure.
But it was a moment where I was sitting in the seat comfortably, and I was like, oh my God, every theater's got to do this.
They better keep it like that. I swear to God.
I know.
I see that is when I would say, okay, make Broadway expensive, is if they are renovating everything and making it with leg room. And then
I'm against those prices though.
Oh,
the cabaret prices, insane. I'd rather have an uncomfortable theater than cabaret prices for every show.
I was looking at those the other day. I wanted to potentially see a show this week, so I entered the lottery for all of that jazz. But
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I would love to see it.
I gotta see a show. I haven't seen a show in a minute. So we, and that concludes our tangent. Back to the prom. We have a really good movie adaptation, in my opinion. I like it.
I loved it.
Ryan Murphy of Glee fame,
yes,
and general fame, adapted the musical in 2020 for Netflix. And this one was obviously just star-studded up the wazoo. We have Meryl Streep as Dee Dee Allen, James Corden as Barry Glickman, Ariana DeBose as Alyssa, Andrew Rannells as Trent, Nicole Kidman as Angie. Newcomer Jo Ellen Pellman played Emma. I think she was like fresh from Michigan and starring in a movie opposite Meryl Streep, and I think she was great.
She was phenomenal.
Kerry Washington was Alyssa's mom, who I think needs to do more musicals.
Absolutely.
I mean, she's just amazing, and she's incredible. And I mean, Alyssa's mom doesn't sing a ton, but she has like 8 bars in the middle of that one song, and she kills it.
Sure did.
And I watched a bunch of interviews with her, and she was like, I am a musical theater nerd. No one knows this, but I studied musical theater in college. I love musical theater.
Hell yeah.
She said she worked one-on-one with Ariana DeBose to nail all the dancing because she's in that huge dance number at the end. And if you watch, you can see every time the music pans to her, she's dancing for her life.
Hell yeah.
So I think we need to get Kerry Washington in a musical.
Get her in here.
I think it was a really good adaptation. It was quite different from the stage version.
Yeah.
And there were some things I didn't love. I think what I didn't love about the movie is that the musical's about Emma.
Yes.
The musical is about Emma's reckoning with her sexuality. And I think the adults, the adult characters, are the ones who are helping her with her journey.
For sure.
And I think they zoomed in on the adult's journey in a way that I think didn't help and took things away. I didn't love... I hated the whole subplot with Barry and his mom. I hated that.
Oh, yeah. Very unnecessary.
I actually think that in the musical, it is so powerful that Barry doesn't have a resolution to that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really realistic.
For sure.
And I think that especially there's like so many gay men of a certain age who don't get that ending.
Yeah.
And my favorite, oh my God, it's so sad. My favorite scene is right at the end of the stage show when Alyssa comes out, and she comes out as gay, and she's like, I love Emma. Everyone is shocked. Everyone's standing on stage. The mom is not cool with it. And Barry has a moment where he steps out and he's like, listen, if you don't get on board, like, you are going to lose your daughter.
Yeah.
And there's like so much weight there because obviously this character has lived through this exact thing.
For sure.
And he's saying, don't be my mom. You know, like, you're going to lose your daughter. You're not going to win this fight.
Yeah.
And I think the addition of the mom just waters the whole thing down.
Yep.
So that's what I'm mad about. But
I agree. Overall,
I think it's a very solid adaptation. I think the cast is great.
Yeah.
Honestly,
say it. I know exactly what you're going to say.
I don't know why people hate James Corden as much as they do.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm not a stan. Like, I don't see his name and I'm like, oh, I got to go to that movie.
For sure.
But I never think he's particularly bad.
See, the thing is, he's not. I think it was just like an oversaturation thing where it was all of a sudden he was that person for all of the movie musicals.
Yeah.
And
people just got sick of him. And I think the memes are funny.
Oh
I
my God,
I think it's absolutely hysterical when they wouldn't announce the Dr. Dillman in the Wicked movie.
Yep.
And everyone was like, "Oh,
motherfucker!"
No. There's like a
James
50,000 petition.
Yeah.
50,000 people signed a petition not to have James Corden in the Wicked movie. It's hysterical. But Into the Woods, the Prom, I thought he was fine. I thought he was good.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I
Me
think I'm
neither.
missing something with the hate. I think he's fine. Cats was a hot mess all around. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
Not
for
his fault.
Sure.
So I don't get the James Corden hate. I thought he was very good as Barry. I would have loved the original cast.
Of course.
Obviously, they were going to do it to Meryl.
Yeah.
They were going to give it to Meryl. And I love have you heard about like the Meryl Streep Beth Level multiverse?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
So Beth Level, I mean, they just play the same parts.
Heard
a lot. Beth Level played, what's her name in Mamma Mia?
Donna
in Mamma Mia for years on Broadway. Obviously, Meryl did the movie. Meryl was Devil Wears Prada. Beth Level did all the workshops in the out-of-town production of the musical. They have the Prom. Meryl Streep played the witch in the Into the Woods movie. Beth did it, I think, at the Muni.
Wow.
I know.
Damn. We should get Beth on the podcast.
Friend of the pod, Beth Level?
Friend of the pod.
I think we should.
Absolutely.
She's someone who she's one of my tops. I love her. I think she should do everything.
I think we can get her here. We'll see.
I think she would have.
I'll send out some messages
after
this. She would have
eaten as Miss Lovett.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she did it regionally. Was it the Muni? It might have been the Muni, but I want to see her Mama Rose. Everything.
It'll happen.
I want to see her do everything.
Yeah. I
think at any production, her and Donna Murphy should just alternate who does what night.
Great.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, what was that? The Little Foxes with Cynthia Nixon and where they alternated every night who played what character?
Who else was it?
Oh, it was Cynthia Nixon, and I see her face. Her face is in my mind. She's so famous. Oh my God.
The Google.
Why we have Google. What was it? Little Foxes, right? Laura Linney. Cynthia Nixon and Laura Linney alternated parts every night. And I think that Donna Murphy and Beth Level should do that. And that's what I have to say on that.
There you go. You have your stance. Stick to it. Bam.
But I love the Prom, and I love that it toured. When I saw it on Broadway.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it would tour. And me and my friend actually bet, I think, $5 on it. I said it would tour, no questions asked, and she said that it wouldn't tour.
Yeah.
Because she was like, they can't do it in some states, and there's no way they're going to tour it. There's going to be, like, a whole slew of theaters that won't put on the Prom.
Yeah.
And, or maybe it was I the one who said it wouldn't tour. I don't remember.
Were you on the right or wrong side of history?
I don't know which side of history I was on. Maybe I'll Venmo request her $5 from a bet we made 8 years ago and see if she pays up. But I'm glad that it toured.
Me too.
It toured for a long time. I think the tour is closed now. And I would love for it. Maybe it has and I'm just not. I don't know. I would love for it to firmly enter the school musical.
I believe it has.
Circuit.
I do believe it has.
Because I think that's a beautiful show to do with schools and do with high schoolers. Because logistically, it's a huge cast.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with it. You can have a lot of people. You can have, all genders in the show. And all different types of actors.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good to see it starting to pop up. Also, just regionally too. I'm glad that people are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the movie in particular was also just really accessible. That was something that I was like, I know that I can just sit on a couch with my mom and everyone's gonna have a good time. You know, it's just nice. It's
right on Netflix.
Exactly.
Very easy to watch. It's family friendly too.
For sure.
It's not mature.
No, I think it's a Ryan Murphy kind of situation where you can just tell that he held the reins and he knew where to steer it as he does.
I was about to say something so embarrassing.
What were you going to say?
I was like, based on the Prom, he's actually really good at filming a musical sequence on film.
Wow.
He should do more of that. Remember, I'm not a Gleek.
Yeah.
I'm not a Smash head. Did he do Smash?
I don't know.
Oh, probably not.
Maybe.
You know, he's acclaimed,
yes.
And I'm like, this guy should have a career.
Did you watch Boys in the Band?
No.
Oh my God, Daniel!
What?
That you gotta watch.
Was that him too?
Yeah,
he directed that.
I'm almost 100%
The Boys in the Band?
positive. Yeah. I mean,
Am I crazy, or wasn't that the Broadway play that transferred, that they filmed?
that is exactly what it is. It was a movie of the Broadway film.
And what did he do?
I believe he directed it.
Oh, God, there's a lot of pauses in this. Yeah, Brian Broovy produced it.
Yeah.
Directed by Joe Mantello.
Okay.
So I think they took the same
For sure. That's
production.
That was a phenomenal one, I gotta say.
Watch it.
You would love it. You would love it.
I unintentionally boycott Ryan Murphy.
You're the most controversial guest I've ever had on the podcast, and
Am I?
You're the only one that keeps on getting to come back.
Well, I guess that's the trick.
Yeah.
Be controversial, ask you back.
Be controversial or live in the same
How
home
am I
as me.
controversial?
You just say things.
Just because I don't watch Glee?
Because you're actively boycotting.
No, I said passively, unintentionally boycotting.
Okay.
That's very different. And it's not because he's gay. Let me say that right now.
Yeah, okay.
I know that's what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
I know that after I kept saying sapphic, everyone's like, oh, he's boycotting Ryan Murphy because he's
It's
gay.
because you want to be the only gay one. That's it. You think you can be the only one.
That'd be a very lonely existence.
Yeah. Woof. Anywho, yeah.
I listen to the score. There's
Please do.
some songs in this show. I know we talk about audition songs.
Yeah. Love to give them.
There are some that I think could be good ones.
For sure.
I know a lot of girls do the song Alyssa Green.
Yes, they sure do.
It's a good song now.
It is a good song.
It's a good song.
I think, honestly, all of the adult songs are great for adults in their books and stuff. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a nice youthful dichotomy to have for them.
Yeah, I love the song Unruly Heart. I think you could really break a heart if you can do a solid rendition of that song.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in here.
Just Breathe. I think it's really popular too, but I think it's good. If you're like a contemporary mixy girly, this is a show for you.
Absolutely. Get on that.
Emma, Alyssa, if you're old enough, you could do one of the adult female parts. I think on tour, what I was told is that they did a funny thing where just people in the ensemble understudied the 4 adults.
Oh.
And so they had one of the covers was like a 25-year-old Dee Allen.
Iconic. I want the footage.
And my friend saw it because his friend was doing it. And he was like, she was wonderful. She was 20 years too young, but she was wonderful.
I feel like they should have had 2 adult covers. Yeah, for the respective
I don't think
roles.
It was a star-studded tour, though.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a star-studded Broadway run either. Like they didn't have a huge name in it, which is also an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Maybe they had trouble because it was an original musical and it's a gamble.
I think it suited it, honestly. I think it was nice and fresh, and
which I love.
It was
I don't think you need a name and everything.
No.
I'm trying to think, like Suffs doesn't have a huge name. That's another one that's full of blue collar Broadway.
Of course.
We love blue collar Broadway.
Are you gonna get canceled for that one? You might. I don't know.
I don't think so. My friend who works on Broadway told one of their coworkers that I used that term because their coworker is a blue collar Broadway person, and they thought it was fucking hysterical.
Okay, great.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I'm gonna get canceled. They probably think I'm an asshole. And they're like, no, they thought it was fucking hysterical.
Amazing.
This is true. Like the blue collar Broadway workers. They just, they're not Sutton Foster, but they've been working on Broadway for 20 years. And when you see them in a playbill, you're like, I know who that is.
Yeah.
I know them. I've seen them in plays. They're wonderful. They're usually the most talented people in the cast.
Of course.
Because they are just working actors.
There you go. Blue collar Broadway.
You're laughing at me.
I think it's funny, but no, I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. A+.
It's another show. I think similar to a Legally Blonde. I unfortunately don't think we'll see any kind of revivals of it.
I would agree.
And I don't think this show... It could, and people are creative, but I don't know that this show would work in a an off-Broadway setting.
No.
I think it's...
I don't think we need it. I don't think we need it to come back to the main stages of New York, just because I feel like distributing it regionally and to high schools, I feel like
what happens in November, we might need it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I think it's more powerful if we're distributing it and then it's popping up everywhere rather than just...
That's fair.
You know, that's kind of how I see that.
Yeah.
Maybe another tour for sure, but
it is a show that I very actively hope will have a big life.
I think it will.
Like, through the country and through schools. I want kids to do it.
Well, I think as soon as, like, we get to the point where everyone in the blue states have done it, we might be at the point where there's a shift in the red states, and then it starts to become that...
I hope
that wave in those places, you know.
I mean, there's still places that like a show like Fun Home is, you know, that show's been around for a lot longer than the Prom, and it's tough. Some places can't do it, and some places. I mean, I know there was a theater on Long Island a couple of years ago that was doing Fun Home, and a lot of my friend was in it and said that a lot of people would walk out in the middle of the show.
That's terrible.
Which is why we need to do these shows in places like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever walked out of a show before?
Once.
Okay.
In my entire theater-going existence, one time I walked out of a show.
I can't remember if I have. I feel like I have. That sounds like something that I might have done. I don't think it was ever on the Broadway, but
it wasn't a Broadway
probably
show.
Something.
I would never walk out of a Broadway show. I'm much too poor to do that.
That's
if
exactly
I paid for the ticket,
I'm like, I gotta get my money's worth.
If I paid for the ticket, even if I hate it, I will stay to the end. Also, I'm an opinionated asshole, and if I'm gonna form an opinion, I need to see the whole thing.
Valid.
You can't form an opinion based on half a show.
That's so true.
But I did walk out of intermission one time. I think it was 2020. I was with my mom and my sister, and all three of us were like, this is heard. We have to leave. I'll tell you the show and the theater later.
Amazing.
It was just... I think it was the first show I saw after the pandemic.
Oh.
Theater was, like, coming back into existence.
What a great way to kick things off.
And that's how we kick things off. Baby!
Woof, 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 woof. Woof.
Yeah, no, it was bad. I think if I was alone, I would have stayed.
Yeah.
But my mom and my sister were voicing what I had in my head already, and they were like, we should get out of here. This is this is tough. And I said, okay, let's go. Have you ever walked out of a show?
I think so. I think probably.
You think?
I don't remember for sure, but I feel like I probably did.
Really? Why? Just from boredom?
It's only because of boredom. You know, it's never really anything where I'm like, oh, this is so controversial. It's very much
nothing is too bad for your virgin ears.
I would rather leave than fall asleep. You know, I have fallen asleep during a show before.
A Broadway show?
Yes.
What show?
Phantom of the Opera.
No.
Yeah.
How old were you?
20.
Are you a Phantom hater?
I don't love it.
I saw Phantom of the Opera for the first time, like 2020, 2021. It was either just before the pandemic or just after the pandemic, and I can't remember which. And it's because me and my friend got free tickets, and I somehow went through 20-something years of being a theater FAG with a BFA in drama, not knowing even the most basic plot line of the show. All I knew was Think of Me because sopranos in class sing it.
Yeah.
And I went with my friend who is a soprano who is obsessed with that show. And I had the best time.
Amazing.
And she had the best time too, because she was like, you just never think you're going to watch Phantom of the Opera with someone who doesn't know Phantom of the Opera because those people don't exist. And I was gasping. I was laughing. And I thought I had my finger on the pulse. I was like, watch, it's gonna end in a huge murder-suicide, and he's gonna burn the whole theater down. And I was wrong. I was fully wrong.
You sure?
And I loved it. I walked out of that theater, and I was like, this show is so good. And everyone's like, yeah, it's Phantom of the Opera. And I have one friend who's like a beautiful lyric soprano. And I was like, have you ever considered playing Christine in Phantom of the Opera? Like, that is such a good part for you. And she's like, are you making fun of me or like...
You should give them a call.
You should give them a call.
Yeah.
Call Phantom up. Tell them you're here. They're a brand spanking new show, and they could really use people.
I think I got to give it another chance. Maybe we'll talk about it in one of the upcoming weeks. I mean, I can watch something of it.
I've never seen the movie, though. We should watch the movie with Emmy Rossum. I love Emmy Rossum. I love Shameless.
Great.
We've devolved.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the thing you wanted to say? Or is this not about the prom?
It's not about the prom at all.
Okay.
I just wanted to put out there, folks, that I am so exhausted right now because I spent hours and hours this morning in a holding room waiting for the chance to be seen. I did not get seen. And that is the reality that I want to spread out there, that it is normal, it happens, and some of your days are going to be waiting in holding rooms and not getting seen, and that still means you are a professional actor because that is you showing up to work, you know? It may feel like a waste of time, and in ways it can be, but at the end of the day, you are showing up to work, and that's how that goes. So, always here for that transparency. Mm-hmm. Bing, bang, boom.
One day you're not getting seen at a DPA. The next day you're playing Emma in the Prom on Broadway and getting a Tony now.
Exactly.
So, it's one or the other. There's no...
Yeah, there's no option. Yeah, I can't wait to play Emma.
I can't wait to play Emma in the Prom.
Amazing. Okay. I feel any other closing notes?
I don't think so. I feel pretty solid.
Rock and roll.
Listen to the soundtrack. It's a great gym soundtrack.
It is. Yeah.
Look, any Casey Nicholaw show is going to be a great gym soundtrack.
Valid.
You know he's a dancer first.
Of course.
So go to the gym, listen to the prom, come home, watch the bootleg, then watch the Netflix show in that order.
Bring it to your high schools. Petition
Bring it
for
to your high
to
schools.
make it happen.
Send us photos of you at your prom.
Yes. If you ever run into pushback, like with you attending a prom in that way, tweet about it. Tweet about it. Change the world.
Go to the media, YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be on Ellen because she's gone, but
Prom 2.
maybe Seth Meyers.
Here we go again.
Sequel?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Do you think Emma and Alyssa stayed together through college?
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
But their love was so pure.
Of course it was. It always is. And then you go off to college, and then you grow apart, and then
she went to college and met her Joan.
Maybe that's just me projecting. I don't know. Anywho.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
There's something so sad.
Oh, doorbell. You want to go grab that?
Do I want to? Okay. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Danny's going to get the door. You can follow him at DSauls. As always, folks, you can find us on Instagram at B8 Broadway. You can find me at Brennan Stefanik. And you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/B8 Broadway. Not gatekeeping any vital information there. That's for fun bonus content. And you get to pick what shows we talk about here for In the Spotlight. So go check us out there. And until next week, folks, bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.